So we'll go ahead and look at rendering the strawberries now. To do that, it might be a good idea, to just get rid of the, not get rid of, but only render the strawberries and hide the milk for a second. Okay, just so we can see the top part, because I can't see any here. So I'm going to jump into, not fluid initial, to my render. And then if I come here to the top, so this is where our strawberry is coming in. And just if I control click there, we'll have to click render again to reinitialize it. And then that should hide the milk, the yogurt, sorry. There we go. So we can just focus on the strawberry now. And let's take one, maybe this one. So we can see quite, a bit of the top. Shift and drag, so we can get some nice quick iterations there. The background there, by the way, is the HDR. By the way, one thing we can do while this reminds me is we probably need to change the view of this to lat long, so that's how it's actually projected onto the background. Okay, and also another thing you can see is quite low res there. You might be able to make a difference to that here. So if you take a look at the actual file and take the bigger number of the two, basically 5364. If I take a snapshot of that, 5364, and then I think it's well, I don't know if I actually see a difference there, but this can help with your, maybe, I don't know if you'll see anything in the strawberries. Not much, it seems, but it can be useful if you've got reflections of your HDR in your geometry. And let me render it again just in case. And it looks kind of pixelated or low resolution. When you've got a really strong reflection, then you might want to bring up the resolution here. Okay, let's see if that's done anything. Now it seems in our case it doesn't matter too much, right? But we'll leave it on because it's not taking too long to render anyway. Great, so yeah, I'll come back here, focus on this strawberry, and let's jump into our, we'll start with the body. So just as before, we need to bring in the images, right, the maps, to render this. I'm going to hide that. So for our body, we've got a diffuse map, and for the color, out of here, and then in my textures folder, I've got all of these maps. So I'm going to grab the body diffuse, jump in there, and let's call this diffuse because we have more than one map. Yeah, and then grab that down, alt click and drag to get another one, and then subsurface scattering color as well. So I'll put SSS color for that. Okay, and then we need to connect them up. So let's take our base color there, and the subsurface scattering color there. Yeah, we don't have any subsurface on, it's not on yet, so it's not going to be working yet. To bring out this color a bit more, we can actually multiply it here, brighten it up a bit, and maybe raise the offset a bit to 2.5. Okay, just to brighten it up, and same here, push that up to 1. Good. Okay, and for the roughness, we'll generate a noise map. Okay, so you can either have, if you've bought your model somewhere, or another person has made your map model for you, you know, you can bring in that map, but you can also, if you don't have that, then we can generate our own maps with procedurally with noise. So I'm going to grab this noise, and what I'm going to do is grab the R component and connect it directly here to the output, and then we'll see this. It'll be easier to visualize what we're getting, right? So right away here, I'm going to bring up the scale, 6.7, about there. And then the octaves, let's bring that up to 8. Some more distortion as well. Very subtle, but you can see a difference between the left and the right. That's not the shading, that's not the lighting, that's just the map, right? I think that's okay like that. The color, so this will be really, really rough, right? So we want to bring up the white color, or bring that down, sorry, to maybe like 0.2. Okay, so you can see that we got a very subtle difference in roughness there going on along the surface. So I'll connect that up to the specular roughness and then connect that back up, and we can see the difference. Okay, now obviously we need subsurface, so let's turn that on. So that's too much at the moment. Let's bring it down to 0.5. And the radius again is too big. Bring it down to lower still. We'll go to 0.05 for the depth. Okay, remember the radius is how far into the geometry before we see any scattering. Let's try this. That looks better. Great. What we can do with this color also, you can make adjustments here, but you can also, let's get a bit more control. We can add a color correct node, right? And then to this we can add some colors here, right? So I've got some values kind of worked out here. So I'm going to put 104688 there. To give us kind of a red, but more of a greeny red. 11411. Copy that, paste that in there, the same in both. Okay, hopefully that'll push our color a bit more. Great, I think that's just done for the body. Maybe I'll bring the IOR, index of refraction, down a bit. Cool. Okay, let's take I'll just render the whole thing. Get a snapshot of that, won't take long. You can see it's taking a bit longer now that we've got subsurface. It can be quite expensive to render and cause a bit of noise, but still it's, you know, not too long for us. Grab a snapshot of that, and then let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna jump into my seeds. Do that next. And again here we need to bring in the color. So we've got, find our seed diffuse, connect that up to the base color. Okay, maybe I'll zoom in, grab this guy again. Okay, let me click render again to make sure this is actually coming through. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, we can see a difference there. Just wait for that to render. Give ourselves some more room. Great. So right, so I'm going to bring this diffuse color down a bit. Seeds will be rougher, so I'll bring that up. And let's take a look at our, again here, subsurface. You know, won't be as much as the kind of fleshy part of the strawberry. So give it a lower value and a smaller radius as the object is very small. Go down to 0.1. And then the color, we can give it some color here. We don't have a map for it. 031, 0.031, 0.012648. Gives this browny organic kind of color there. Cool. I think that's good for the seeds. Cool. Okay, let's take another snapshot there. Next, what we got next? The hair. Quite simple, this one. Again, similar to the seeds, similar to week 5, in fact. So we just grab the image node for that. Find the hairs, diffuse. Good, and then RGBA to base color. Then we should see something there. Great, put that up to 1. Okay, can leave all this as it is. Let's come back. We want to use subsurface here. We'll use transmission, just like in week 4. Yes, yeah, week 4. And let's see, we can give it some color here. 0.5 and 0. Let's give it a nice green to this transparency. Cool. Great. And then what else? Oh, the top. Okay, so again with the top we need to bring in a couple of maps. So for the top we've actually got, let me just make sure we can see all of it. For the top we've actually got a diffuse map for the color. We have a roughness, top roughness. We also have a normal map for the top. Yeah. Great, so let's name these as we've got 3. Diffuse, rough, and normal. Okay. Same again, connect up this diffuse. There we go, see the difference there straight away. And let's push that to 1, the color there. Great. Let's see. Yeah, connect up the roughness map. Take just the R channel, RGB. I think you can use any. Specular roughness. Great. What else? Oh, so for the normal map, we want to use a bump 3D in this case. So we've used, I think we did use this before, I'm not sure. Yeah, for a bump map, we need a bump 2D, but as this is a normal map, we use this bump 3D. So let's connect that up to the normal part here, put that up to 1. I'll take a snapshot here just so we can see the difference. Connect the vector to the normal. And hopefully we can see, yeah, see the difference there now. Okay, get a bit more detail with that. Great. What else? So we want to add some subsurface to this, right? So we got our roughness. Okay, so let's find subsurface, push that up. And we're kind of breaking all of our nice work that we've done. We'll bring it back. So we don't have a map for the color for the subsurface like we do for the body, but we can just use this information here also. So I'll connect that up to the subsurface color. Still not seeing it because the depth and the radius is both are way too high. So I'll bring that all the way down to 0.01, not 0.1. Okay, that's still too high. Let's try another method. There we go, much better with this diffusion. Like I said, just try experimenting with different types. Probably don't need so much as well. There we go, getting something nice with that. Try going up in scale. get a bit more. Cool. I think that's us all done for the shading. So let's grab everything together. And maybe, actually, well, we should bring the fluid back in. Okay, so come back in here, go to the bottom, visualize that, control, click on that, and then click render again. That should bring it all back, and we'll see what we get with that. There we go, render's come in. I'm going to press H to fill the screen, click on this white box to fill it up. We can see we've got our strawberries working well with the yogurt there. Cool.